Come on. Yes. Monday, the 11th, thank you, of January. We are back talking mindset. So if you tuned in last week, we gave you guys a little intro into mindset and journaling in particular. And I know both of us have posted in the group about our journaling journeys. A bit of a mouthful. In today's live, we're going to be talking about mindset, mental health, and how exercise and staying active, particularly right now, is going to have a positive impact, and what the potential negative impacts, I guess, can be if you don't preserve your headspace. I am by no means anywhere near an expert on this, not qualified. However, good job we've got James here. Say hello, James.
Hello.
Because he's far more qualified than I am. I will chip in with the odd comment. But yeah, look, we're just going to have a little rundown. I think, James, you've probably got a list of things just to cover off. So I'm just going to hand it over, and I'll chip in if I can, where I can.
That sounds good. Good. So,
how are you doing, by the way? Sorry, before we kick off, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. That's it. Yeah, good. My headspace.
Oh yes.
Positive mental health.
Definitely.
Okay, amazing. Sorry, that's it. I'm done.
That's good. It's a good start for Monday, so it's a good check-in. It's a good check-in. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this off with something that I was watching last night on Country File, because I'm a country mouse, so I've got to keep in contact with my boys, see what's going on. So there was actually quite a big focus last night on mental health and things that you can do to help to benefit your mental health, which particularly in the situation we're in right now with the pandemic, with the lockdown here in the UK and in different parts of the world as well. And looking at different sort of techniques that you can do, looking at why maybe these things affect us, what we can do, and why it actually benefits us as well in terms of changing our headspace and helping to improve our mental health as well. So one thing that they were talking about was they actually had one of the guys go through it was weird. It was almost like a reservoir, but they changed it into where people could surf.
Okay.
So it had like a kind of like a massive wave machine.
Oh, nice.
For this.
Yeah.
And they were saying about how the benefits, obviously, of exercise is it helps to boost the feel-good hormones. So, endorphins, things like that, all get a big boost when we exercise, which can obviously help our mental health because it makes us feel good. Yeah. But there's also a few other things that we're talking about in terms of water, in terms of the actual sound of the waves as well, because it's a rhythmic sort of cycle of how the wave breaks and crashes onto the water. Yeah. And they're saying that it can actually work to distract us from all the input which is going on, all the thoughts which are going on in our head, which I thought was really interesting. That's not something that I'd necessarily thought about in terms of why, when you go to a beach, you can relax, or people listen to, white noise.
Wave music.
Yeah, wave music.
When they fall asleep, right?
Exactly, yeah. Rain on the window music, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's that rhythmical thing which apparently helps us to sort of switch off from all the input which is going on. Yeah. And the amount of information that we get bombarded with day in, day out, whether it be on our phones, whether it be, billboards as we walk past them, whether it be TV, Facebook, whatever, all the different ads that we have apparently 34 gig of information fired into our brain that we have to process every single day.
Oh, wow.
But I was thinking, how can we quantify what that actually is?
Yeah.
So, using my brain, what I did was I Googled how much a 32 gig iPhone could hold in terms of pictures.
Yeah.
And that could hold 6,500 pictures.
Okay.
So we're getting bombarded with more than 6,500 images, basically, that we have to process and deal with. So I thought it's quite interesting how much information we do actually get into our brains every single day.
Yeah.
And a lot of it we don't necessarily pay attention to, but it has an effect on us.
And the distractive effect, I guess, as well, like, you know, what to focus on, short-term, long-term memory, you know, the fact that you multitask many things because you've got so much stuff coming at you. It's, it can be a bit overbearing.
Definitely,
sure.
definitely. So it was interesting how much data we take in, how much we have to process, and like you said, we've got to get on with our day as well. We can't just sit there just looking at the advert all day long and just that's a really nice picture. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and how we can switch off in terms of using things like wave music, using things like white noise, particularly when sleeping something we're going to get into further down the line. But that I thought was quite of a different way of looking at things in terms of our mental health and distractions and things like that from what we would normally be thinking about, and how we could possibly change that as well.
Sure.
So if we're focused on that information and we want to change where our mental health is, maybe we're not in the best space with all the different things which are happening. Yeah. So it's working on providing yourself with more of that positive data. So things like we mentioned, like the journaling, is fantastic because that is changing your outlook to look for the positives.
Yeah. By having a gratitude diary, at the very least, just like, you know, making a note of, you know, 3 or 5 things that you're grateful for every day, right? Because that kind of positive spin on it. Or the other thing is, so I'm doing, so I've been meditating for a long time, and I use an app called Headspace. And at the moment, I'm doing like an appreciation course. So, you know, it focuses, or the course is making me ask myself the question, who or what do I appreciate most right now? And, you know, putting like a positive spin on that kind of helps with, you know, setting you up in terms of having a good mindset, right? Having a positive outlook. And then, sorry, the other thing, which I've been reading a book called Limitless, Jim Quick, brain training guy. The thing is, once you start having a positive outlook and you start, you know, noticing things that you're grateful for and the things that you appreciate and that kind of stuff, your reticular activating system, so I don't know, a function in the brain that recognizes patterns, will start to pick those instances out more so every day, because that's what you're focusing on. So, you know, he gives an example of, if you buy a pair of trainers or you buy a car, for example, because, you know, that car is at the forefront, or those trainers are at the forefront of your mind, you're more aware of picking out when you see those cars or those trainers out, you know, when you're out and about. That doesn't mean that they weren't there before. It just means that you weren't paying attention to them before. So, you know, in that respect, obviously focusing on the positives, you know, the gratitude, the appreciation, the things that are going right, and having, you know, focusing less on, not ignoring, but focusing less on the negatives will obviously put you in a good state of mind, right? And have positive impacts. Sorry, that was my 2 cents. That's all I got.
That's a good 2 cents, because that definitely happens with cars, because I love cars. So I'm like, I want this car. Like, oh, there's one. Okay, everyone's got this car apart from me. I have to get
no, stuff like that. So, okay, so distractions for sure, not good. You know, I'm doing a challenge at the moment, and one of the tasks was to have my phone on airplane mode for a whole day, so that I can just be free of stuff, of notifications, messages, and all that kind of stuff. I was aiming to do that yesterday. I didn't get a chance to do it because I had to be out and about. I'm going to do it next Sunday. But yeah, distractions is a big one. I think just in keeping with like the positives and negatives, obviously right now, anytime you turn on the news, negative, right? Super negative.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that I tried to implement at the start of lockdown last year was just minimize your daily intake of news, because shit stories sell. And obviously the focus is on doom and gloom, because that's where the attention goes. So I now only check out sport headlines, nothing else. And I'm a Spurs fan, so I'll only check out. I'll only check out sport headlines if Spurs are winning, which is fairly inconsistent. So sometimes it puts me in a negative headspace.
But it's a good plan. It's a good, like, I can't actually remember the last time I watched the news, because, like you say, one, it's never good. It's it's very, very rare you will see a positive story in the news.
Yeah.
And two, we aren't designed to take on the information of the world, like I was saying before about the information overload.
Yeah.
The same thing happens with news. We're designed to focus on our community and what is going on with our community, and that's just through evolution. That's how we had a little tribe. Whatever was going on with our tribe, we need to know, because it's going to affect us. We didn't need to know what's happening with the tribe over in Australia or over in Argentina, because that begins with A as well.
Brazil, B.
B. No, we're not doing B. We can't do B.
Zambia, Z. Look, we've gone Z. It's fine.
Sorry. It is. It's all information overload. It's too much for us as a person to process, and it leads to us not being able to focus on what we actually want to get done, and we want to set ourselves up as, in terms of mindset, headspace, and outlook as well. So it all has a huge effect on our information processing systems, but also our actual outlook in terms of life itself. So definitely, switching off is a fantastic way of doing it. Obviously, you wouldn't want to do that on a Monday lunchtime, because there's just this fabulous new information download for everyone that you can see on Facebook, and it's definitely just, why would you want to miss it?
Tuesdays to Sundays is fine, but Mondays.
Yeah, don't worry about Tuesday, Sunday. Yeah. nothing good happens then.
Obviously, distractions are one thing which can have a negative impact on your mindset and mental health. Like what other things do you think will have an impact as well, and that we can sort of safeguard against, I guess?
Yeah, I think another one which is quite important is burnout as well, particularly again in today's world, where we can work at any time of the day. We can pretty much work wherever we are in the world as well. So it's very easy just to check your emails at 10 o'clock at night, or just think, oh no, I'll just do this one thing. It's like, it's 10:30, but I should be in bed, but I'll just do this. So burnout is something that I think, well, in the clinic, we see it more and more. People just absolutely stressed out coming in, and they're working harder now that they're working from home than when they were working in the office, because they don't have that sort of that cutoff. It's not a case of 5:30 comes and you're out of the door and you can forget about it. It's a case of it's 8:30 and you're still sat in the same place you were at 3 o'clock. So you might as well just do a little bit more work. So safeguarding from burnout, I think, is really, really important, and not having that guilt as well that can sometimes go with it. So that can be in work, but it can also be in terms of our health and our fitness as well. So if we are working out regularly and we have a few days off for whatever reason, sometimes you can feel like, but if I'd done that, then I'd be further ahead of where I am now.
Sure.
Or I need to now work extra hard to catch up with those days that I missed. Which is it's common. I mean, it happens to, I'm sure it's happened to all of us, where we thought, I'll just do another half an hour and I'll be caught up. But it's that lasting effect that it has. We're pushing ourselves harder than what we normally would do. So making sure that you can sort of reframe that as, it's okay to have a break. it's okay to allow yourself to recover. You can change it to that. Give yourself sort of a bit of a quick reset, which then spurs you on to get going again. Look at that, Spurs.
Being kind to yourself, right? That's one thing.
Be kind to yourself.
You mentioned last week. It's all right to just take a time out. I think, particularly with exercise, your body will be thankful for it. Especially if you're going hard at it. But just, I guess, in terms of burnout, I think I experienced burnout just before Christmas. I from sort of mid-December, I was just switched off. It was. I remember it because it was a Wednesday. The Tuesday before, going great guns. Been working consistently, obviously, throughout the year. And managing whatever the fallout is of the situation that we're in. And then literally on that Wednesday, I got up. I was like, nah, I couldn't, face it. And I went into a little bit of a slump, I'll be honest, and I'm grateful that I've got a great support network that helped, pull me out of that spiral that you can get into. But yeah, I think that was definitely down to burnout. Because like you said, you can do a lot of stuff online, and, not having cut off times, or days where you just, relax, where you give your head, your mind, your brain, your body the chance to just recharge. Linked with sleep as well, which I know we'll cover separately. But yeah, that's and it all goes back to it's all right to do that. Like we're not machines. We are human beings. So just be kind to yourself. It's all right to take a break. I think one of the things that I'm trying to stick to this year in particular is, I've been used to working sort of 7 days a week, not necessarily going hard, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, every day. But this year, my intention is to have Sundays generally just to have off, just to be like, nah, I'm zoned out. Now, does that mean that I need to work harder on the other 6 days? Perhaps. Does it mean, I need to focus on working smarter? Definitely. But to give, myself the opportunity to sort of recharge and you just don't know what comes out as a result, right? When you're in downtime, that's when a little bit of creativity flows, or, you get to appreciate different things. Like I found that I like cooking. I didn't know that I like cooking, but I'm cooking now on Sundays regularly. So bonus for me. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's little things like that. I think burnout definitely, and just giving yourself a break is useful, and I guess sticking to some sort of schedule as well, right? Not being beholden to the notifications that come up on your phone. Not everything needs to be dealt with there and then. That's the other thing that I'm learning. Massively important. Yeah.
For sure, definitely, and that's one thing. Actually, there's I can't remember what it was. I think it's a blog which just had a few tips on how to actually improve your mental health, and that was one of the tips was be present in the moment. Sort of be focused on what you are doing, not thinking about every single other job that you've got to do in the rest of the day. That the time for those will come. It's being focused on what you're doing right now and enjoy that moment as well. Rather than just thinking of the laundry list of everything else you've got to do.
I mean, like you say, information overload. We're something that, what was I listening to? I can't remember. I was listening to something, but back in the olden days, like the 1900s or pre that, we were getting hit by something like 3,000 bits of information a second or something like that. Whereas now we get hit by whatever you were saying, 32 gigs, which is
32 gig,
however much that relates to. And the amount of information that we produce, I think, has increased to such an extent over the last 20 years that I should get the data on this. But now Google produces the same amount of information in a day that previously took us a year to produce, something like that.
Is it bonkers? Is it YouTube, which is like there's 24 hours of video uploaded every single minute or something like that? It's some crazy stuff.
Madness, right? So no wonder, no wonder our mental health is significantly impacted now with information overload, right? Back in the olden days, reading Stoic philosophy, like they had similar pressing issues, but more time to, ruminate on them and let things like simmer for a little bit. And write and take a time out. Whereas now, because of this, we're always on the go, right? Always. Just like, oh my God, I need to do stuff.
Yes.
And that doesn't really set you up. So sorry, that was my other 2 cents.
No, that's good. That was another good 2 cents. Well done. 4 cents in, you're doing well on all of them. So we'll quickly go through those tips that I read. So the first one, like I said, was being present and appreciating that time.
Yeah.
The second one, to improve your health, is just simply to meet people. Now, obviously, social distance and all that fun.
Sure.
You can still meet people, just a little bit further away than what you normally would be.
Yeah.
But that's exactly, basically.
Yeah.
But it's having that interaction with someone else, and we're social beings. We're meant to talk to different people. We're meant to meet different people. So being in isolation, which a lot of people unfortunately are doing more and more now, with, like I said, working at home or furlough, all these different things that are going on right now, means that we're usually confined to our living space more than what we typically would be. So meeting people is another way of improving mental health. Being physically active, like I said, exercise is a good way of boosting mental health in terms of feel-good hormones, things like that. Gets your body moving, which actually stimulates your brain. So 95% of the brain's nutrition comes from stimulation of the spinal cord. So
okay. Oh wow.
So actually moving your body stimulates your brain through the actual pumping of the nutrients around the body. So another good reason to do it.
Yeah. And is it cortisone? Is that what's produced when you exercise? What's the happy hormone?
Endorphins.
Oh, endorphins. Okay.
Endorphins, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Exercise always. That's like the cornerstone of, I guess, my functioning. Always. I went through a period where I used to run if I was, stressed out, which I found really useful. Just switching off, focusing on running. A bit of music in your head. But yeah, I think, like you said, I do feel that I miss out a little bit when I don't exercise in the morning. But by the same token, I also realize, especially my advancing age now, that my body needs to rest every now and again. So yeah, but exercise is a cornerstone of my my daily routine. Have to exercise, have to do something. Even if it's 5-10 minutes. Do some press ups, some sit ups, like some star jumps, that sort of stuff, just to get the heart moving, just to get your body moving, stuff that you can do at home.
Yeah,
super important for me, for sure. And I've been doing it for years now without realizing, but exercise is massively key. And I know we're restricted. Yeah, we're not supposed to leave home, but we can go out. It doesn't have to be strenuous physical exercise, right? It can be walking, going out for a nice walk, half an hour, going on a bike ride, like that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah, and particularly now when it's cold, actually going out in the cold for a walk or for a bike ride because it is cold and your body wants to keep you warm.
Yeah.
Your heart beats faster, which means you actually get fitter in the cold.
I did not know that.
Look at that. Tips all the time.
Oh, it's like a fountain of tips.
I am.
So, okay, distractions, minimize those.
Yes.
Human interaction. I know it's a little bit limited, but that's the beauty of technology. We can still talk and see people, that type of stuff. Exercise, taking a break, both mentally and physically. Being kind to yourself.
Yes.
What was the other thing?
I also have a couple more, which is learning new skills apparently can help to boost your mental health, I guess, because you're doing something different. It's a bit of a switching gears for your brain. So that's another thing which can help to boost your mental health, and also helping other people. So whether that's volunteering, whether that's, you know, helping your friend get something done, whether that's just simply saying thank you to people more, it actually helps to boost your mental health as well. So it can be extremely small tasks or actions, which, if done repeatedly, can help to improve your mental health as well. So it's a lot of different things. It's not just a case of, like we said, doing the big things in terms of changing your outlook. It can be a small thing, such as saying thank you to someone who, you know, opens the door for you or whatever it is. That can actually begin to create that change in your life.
Nice. And are there like some resources, like some posts that we can point people to where they can take a little bit of a deeper dive?
Yes.
Which I guess we'll be posting in the group.
We'll be posting in the group, so I can't remember off the top of my head. So.
I mean, cool.
There's definitely some out there. But yes, we will put them in the group for you, which are, you know, different blogs, different tips that you can use to help to boost your mental health or give you a little bit of a break from the norm, and switch things up, which again can all help with what's going on.
Nice. Okay, cool. Do you feel that we've sufficiently covered off an intro to mindset and mental health? Like, have we covered the main points in our chat?
I'd say we've done pretty well.
All right. Yeah. So look, guys, I think we'll wrap up there for now. As we said, there's a few resources, links that you can have a look at where you can find out a little bit more information, which we'll post in the group later on in the week. Also, like, we've both posted in videos about journaling. Like, let us know if you journal, or if you're thinking about journaling, or if you you are journaling, you want to give us some tips as to how you journal, what method you use, if any, or what you journal about. Like, share within the group. Other than that, any feedback welcome, guys. Like, if there's anything specific you feel you want us to cover off with regards to mindset in particular, because that's a focus for the month, this month. Let us know. Send us messages, post a comment, say whatever. Like, we're here to help. We're on the journey just as much as you are. And we're just, you know, sharing our relative experiences with you guys to see whether they can help, but it will also be useful for you guys to share your experiences, because I'm sure that there's stuff that you have done, you might do, which could benefit others. So let us know. Does that sufficiently wrap up? Is that a good enough call to action? I know there's quite a few call to actions in there, but
I'd say it's pretty good.
Okay, good.
It's pretty good.
Okay, nice. So look, I know you're in the practice, so gonna let you go. I'm at home.
Yes.
In, you know, relative isolation. It's Bob. But yeah, we're gonna sign off. We'll be posting other stuff during the week as well. But that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Yes. Make sure you join us next week. I know we're half an hour early. My fault. I've got a marathon Zoom call coming up next, which I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, we'll be back next week, 1 o'clock. Here to health. Until then, have a great week. We'll see you later.
Take care. Bye.